Hi, I'm Tamara and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the highly sensitive person, which is someone that can really feel very misunderstood and feel a lot of sadness and anxiety, and they may not be sure why. I'm also going to tell you which MBTI personality type I've seen with this the most, but I'll let you figure it out along the way and you take a guess. The highly sensitive person could be linked to social anxiety. Someone who's highly sensitive is going to dread social situations. It's going to create anxiety, nervousness, fear. It creates a huge amount of anxiety in them. So they can literally dread social situations. They feel awkward. They worry about being judged by people, like, why do you act like that? Why do you look like that? Why did you say that? Or put down or critiqued. They don't want to be confronted by someone, pressured to do things that they just don't want to do. It may be something that seems like nothing to someone else, but for them, it's a big, scary thing. So some of it is about control. Feeling in control, being in control, maybe struggling some with their own sense of identity, maybe feeling like they're not the coolest or the most popular, and how do I handle myself in social situations. They worry a lot about looking dumb, feeling stupid, having nothing to say. They're not necessarily comfortable with just silence. These people may have experienced some level of bullying, so they're ultra sensitive to it. They don't want to experience those painful feelings anymore. The best way to not feel those things is just to avoid it altogether. It's where you feel like all eyes are on you, which they probably are not, but you just feel uncomfortable. Sometimes they may feel more comfortable actually sitting by themselves and not having to talk, but then that adds stress to the situation too, because then again, they're worrying about who's judging me. Some people who are highly sensitive are very sensitive to things that they eat. Some things could be too sweet. They may not like certain textures. I talked to one person who said, well, for my birthday, my mom always gets me a special loaf of bread to eat because I just don't like cake. It's just too sweet. They may be more sensitive to textures, to things that they touch. So this person is loaded with negative thoughts and emotions. It just swirls around in their head like a whirlwind. They may also have physical symptoms that are associated with that, like headaches. It's almost like it's too much for their mind to handle, so they channel it or project it onto some part of their body. If they were to get a massage, they probably would feel an enormous amount of tension in their shoulders. They are super terrified of being rejected. They tend to take things very, very personally, things that other people would just kind of let go of or think nothing about. And it could be someone saying something to them that was really a very small thing, but they couldn't stop thinking about it to the point where I can never be around this person anymore. I have to get away from them because I'm afraid that they're going to insult me like they did that other time. And it's a perceived insult. They feel hurt easily. They feel a lot of negative emotions inside. They may cry a lot at the slightest thing. They may feel super overwhelmed by being in the middle of a lot of people, like a crowd or a party. There are some things that people can do when they're feeling these things. You have to be forgiving of people. Human beings are not perfect. They're gonna make mistakes. You may be jumping to some incorrect conclusions because your emotions and your feelings are in the way. Sometimes if you're in contact with a rude or harsh person, then guess what? They're probably rude and harsh to most of the people that they deal with. One little thing could happen and it just ruins their whole day, and then they can't sleep. They tend to have really high expectations for themselves that may be unrealistic, and so they beat themselves up for it. Like, why did I say that to this person? Why wasn't I more friendly? Why did I have a hard time opening up? They may experience a lot of negative feelings when they think of other people and how they are socially or how they are financially or what they have that they don't have, and it just drops them down into deep despair instead of being accepting of who you are, grateful for what you have, thankful for your originality. So if this is an issue for you, make a list of characteristics about yourself that are unique and different that you can appreciate about yourself, because we're all different and we have different gifts. So who wants cookie cutter people? I am me. There's no one else like me, and I don't expect anyone else to be. Yes, people can be judgy, but on the other hand, they're far more accepting than what you think. And let's say you're dealing with someone difficult. Maybe instead of running from it, try flowing with it. Be water. What does water do? Water flows. It doesn't push against. You be water. Stop trying to fight against that person and just roll with it. If they laugh at something about you, try laughing with them and say, you are so right. I am crazy. I am a goofball and I love it about myself. You see? And trust that people can and have the capacity to accept you the way that you are, flaws and all. You are an imperfect human who's growing every day, blossoming, and it's shaping you into a better you. Lighten up on yourself. There's a lot of healing in forgiving. You are not in control of what that other person does or thinks. So take baby steps to letting go of that control and letting that person be who they are. And 9 times out of 10, they're probably a little more worried about themselves and what you think, and they're not thinking about you as deeply as what you may think that they are. So let's say a highly sensitive person has an unpleasant experience with someone or awkward experience. We all have that happen to us, but they have a harder time with just letting it go. If you're a highly sensitive person, practice opening up to people that you are developing a friendship or relationship with, and let them know that this is something that I really struggle with. Sometimes people like humanness. They don't like robots or perfect people. They relate to you better when you say, hey, you know what? This is something I struggle with. Reveal a thing or two, and they may be able to relate to you on some of that. I think that is also a healing process, by taking tiny steps to open up to people and let them know who you are, even if it is a highly sensitive person. That trait in itself helps you to have more compassion for people and what they're going through. So it's not necessarily this horrible, terrible thing. And there are people who make fools out of themselves every day and they don't care because they are themselves and they take risks and they feel comfortable with that. So you might want to observe other people and how they are in certain social situations. The highly sensitive person will have a hard time accepting constructive feedback or criticism, even when it's constructive or useful. I played the piano for many, many years, and so I learned very early it's okay to be constructively critiqued on certain things. It's a way for you to get better. Also, I've had my writing ripped to pieces. I'm okay with that, especially if it's with people that you feel safe with, or maybe they're paid to do that. It's not personal. It's giving you feedback to take you to the next level. You also have to define what is a healthy friendship. Healthy friendship is not perfect. Some people who are highly sensitive, they don't like loud scents, to bright lights, to loud sounds, or if you ever heard a basketball bounce, bounce, that might drive them insane. They might need some quiet time to rejuvenate, and that's okay. It might also help to journal and write about what you're feeling, what upset you, how you handled it, and how you can handle it different next time. They may not deal very well with being startled or surprised. They may not be able to watch the news or hate watching it, because when you're sensitive, when you hear negative things, you internalize that. It's hard to disengage from those thoughts because you're sensitive. You feel at a deeper level or depth than other people may feel. So a few more solutions would be, if you can't watch negative things on TV or scary movies or the news, That's okay. Sometimes when there are things that we're very sensitive about, we think we should just get over it. We try to force ourselves into situations that we don't feel comfortable. I say you can kind of pick and choose. There are certain situations that are important that you do have to push through. You just have to pray through it. But in areas where you can protect yourself, then do it. If you have to be in a social situation, do things for yourself that make you feel more comfortable. Sometimes people think that they should just be able to take it and be strong enough to endure it, and so that's what they try to do. But how well does that work? It usually backfires. You leave feeling horrible, awful, terrible. So instead, put some safeguards in for yourself. You might want to take some rubber bands and put them in your pocket so that you can kind of play with those rubber bands with your hands to kind of relieve some tension, and no one has to know that you're doing that. You could also put some Play-Doh in your pocket and just be standing with your hand in your pocket looking cool, but you're really squeezing the Play-Doh to relieve some of that tension. You might want to wear a sweater or a jacket that you can zip it up and down or kind of play with the zipper. Doing those things to help yourself to calm down is okay. So put in safeguards. Also, like let's say you're going on a date. One time on Little People Big World, Matt Roloff's son Zach was going on a date with someone that he really liked. So he told him, write some questions or some things that you can talk about on some note cards, put it in your pocket, and when you feel like you're running out of things to talk about or say, pull out one of those note cards and just kind of look down at it and then talk about it. Why not put safety measures in place to help you? Yes, you might think they're silly, but who cares? No one has to know, and you're doing some things to make yourself feel better. If you go to a social event afterwards, do something nice for yourself that might make you feel better, like buy yourself a hot cup of cocoa, have a movie that you're looking forward to watching at home and curl up and watch it, or do something, have some reward that you're gonna have in place to comfort yourself and make yourself feel more at ease about the situation. Just to sort of change that pattern of I'm beating myself up because I had a miserable time and I feel horrible from it. Do something afterwards that night or the next day to make yourself feel happy, even if it's going to visit your favorite bookstore. It's okay to say no to some things. If there's something that you're really dreading or you're just not a super social people person, you get to choose what you want to do and who you want to be with. So give yourself permission to say no sometimes. So which Myers Briggs personality type have I seen this with most? I would say the INFJ, believe it or not. Most of them are not, but it seems like I've met more INFJs who are highly sensitive people than any other type, and it's probably because of that perfectionistic component. Being able to feel what others feel. Then you add to that introversion, where you need to retreat, you need to rejuvenate. And actually what's interesting is I think they say that 75% of people that are highly sensitive are also introverts. You can be any Myers-Briggs type and be a highly sensitive person. I think I struggle with this to some degree, and it definitely feels horrible and terrible. So I can relate to that. I think sometimes pushing your boundaries, pushing some of your limits, seeing that it's okay, building friendships with people that you can trust really helps greatly. Definitely push yourself a little bit, baby steps. And sometimes you actually can surprise yourself at what new things you actually enjoyed just because you gave it a chance, you gave it more than one chance, and you got used to it and found out that, hey, this is not so bad after all. So I hope this helped someone out there. Thank you for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and share it with people that you think it could benefit. Subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. Bye, people.